buy tickets from Ticketmaster.
Spurs fall 119-100 tonight to the Philadelphia 76ers in Philly. Let's listen into some Bill Schoening now on 1200 WOAI with postgame.
He also had 9 assists and 5 rebounds in this ball game for the Spurs. And Jakob Poeltl with 17 points.
I'm Chris Duel. That's Michael Bartlett next to me.
Also in double figures for the Spurs off the bench, Lonnie Walker with 13 points. He was 5 of 11 from the field. And again, Philly led by the play of Joel Embiid this evening, 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. Ultimate performance brought to you by BMW of San Antonio. And those numbers hard to ignore for Joel Embiid, who 3 times now has been named to the All-NBA team. And you can see why. The young man from the University of Kansas, now in his 8th year, 27 years of age, out of Cameroon, one of the top big men in the league. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification along the San Antonio Spurs radio network.
News Radio 1200 WOAI, San Antonio's breaking news.
Sergio Lozano, welcome in.
Game changer is brought to you by Frost Bank. There really wasn't much of a game changer this evening because the Sixers opened up a double-digit lead early and then just coasted past the Spurs. They, at one point, opened up a 21-point lead. They lead it by 19 at the end of the game. The final score, 119-100, Philadelphia over the Spurs. And I understand Coach Hammond is now calling us.
Becky Hammond
will be joining us here in just a moment.
Spurs assistant coach Becky Hammond with Bill right now.
Hammond here in just a second. Again, next game for the Spurs coming up Sunday morning, and that's 11 o'clock Central Time and 10:30 air time on Sunday morning. And Coach Becky Hammond now joins us from Philadelphia. And Coach, first of all, thanks a lot. I know it's very, very strange to go into a ball game with so many guys missing, but it looked like your players played hard and stayed engaged, stayed involved. They just couldn't get over the hump there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I thought we came out poorly. Obviously dug ourselves a nice hole that first quarter, and really, I mean, it's really just hard to do, to dig out of that hole on the road. We're down a lot of guys, but it's next man up. I thought after that first quarter, everybody, kind of buckled down and started to play better.
It was good to see Lonnie Walker back out there. Of course, he's one of the guys that you missed for the last week or so. It looked like he had pretty good energy and had his win tonight. Yeah,
I mean, we were kind of watching to see how he does, his first game back. But I thought, for not really playing or touching a basketball for a while, I thought he was pretty good. And obviously we'll continue to monitor his minutes and stuff. But he looked good. He looked like himself.
Becky, of course, we're not traveling with you right now, so it's kind of strange to see all of these different transactions taking place and guys not available. From a coaching staff perspective, kind of take us through what's going on there as you learn, almost minute by minute that some guys aren't going to be available and you have to sign guys. What's going on there with the coaching staff as you guys try to get through all of this?
Well, we're just trying to piece together healthy bodies, trying to get some kind of rotation that we like, with the benches and the different groups. I mean, bottom line is there's a lot of guys that have never really played together, playing quite a bit of minutes for us right now. So it's, again, next man up, but obviously it's a little bit of plugging holes, just trying when you're doing a scouting report, or, oh, this guy's now out. It's just, you got to stay on your feet. You got to kind of just go with the flow and make the best of it.
And how about the dynamic of new guys coming in that haven't met other guys? Like Tyler Johnson, of course, is a veteran player. He's kind of used to this, I guess. But some other new players that I'm sure don't know many plays. You just roll the ball out there. How do you get them acclimated to play a game?
Well, I mean, so much of the lingo and stuff and how teams play is very similar. So, you say, oh, we're double drags or pick or, pistol. Those are flow, things like that, delay. Those are like common calls that a lot of the teams run. So, it's not, I mean, you obviously have a very limited package for play calling. But, like on misses and stuff, they just run and play basketball and we try to get them space. We give them a little bit of a base, kind of walk them through some stuff at the hotel. But it's hard to do there on the fly when you haven't done it. But I thought all the guys came in. I thought Tyler Johnson was very solid, played the way we were asking him to play. So we'll see.
Okay, well, Becky, I know it's a tough task for the players and for the coaches, but you guys are keeping it up, and you're going to continue to get through this road trip somehow. I know that you probably can't wait till the end of the road trip. You got 2 more games to go, right?
Yes. We'll head to New York, and again, make the most of it. That's all anybody can do. Next man up and keep the crew, learning. We can still learn, right? So we might be down and we're learning on the fly, but, we can still do some film with the guys. And then obviously live in-game action. There's a lot of teaching going on.
Sure. Hey, Becky, thanks very much for taking the time to call. Safe travels the rest of the way, okay?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you. That is Becky Hammond, assistant coach for the Spurs. Obviously very, very difficult for the Spurs and their coaching staff tonight. They're just trying to keep their heads up and get through it. Tonight, they never led in this ball game. They fall 119-100 to the Philadelphia 76ers. And again, the Sixers improved their record to 22-16. We'll have more. Spurs Radio continues in a moment.
Navy Federal
Joanne.
proudly serving the armed forces, the DoD, veterans, and their
The Spurs had 6 players out tonight with COVID issues. They had 3 new players that were just signed on 10-day contracts. For you to say that we have to accept this as a mediocre team, it ain't going to get any better. This was not an indicator tonight.
All right, next 2. He's done.
It's the button on your left, Anna.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Cindy K. Joyner, welcome in. Joanne, I love you, but come on. No Keldon Johnson, no Devin Vassell, no Doug McDermott. 6 Spurs play. Spurs almost didn't field a team tonight. If they couldn't have signed 3 guys who've never played with the team before to a 10-day contract, they couldn't have put a team out there tonight. There you go. And Joe Garcia, I agree with that comment more. They fought well considering everything.
Come work at your local Pizza Hut with flexible scheduling and a fun, fast-paced environment.
Yeah.
You could even be a delivery driver.
Jamie, COVID was part of it.
Apply online at jobs.pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut restaurants are operated by independent franchisees who control their own.
Yeah, Joanne, I appreciate your opinion. You have every right to express it. Here we go. I'm on the air right here. From the Spurs Net Center, I'm Chris Duel. Final score from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia 76ers defeat the San Antonio Spurs 119-100. Programming note on the flagship station, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI, and streaming live video on 1200 WOAI's Facebook and Twitter pages. Michael Bartlett and I will have your Spurs React coming right up. Let's update the scores in progress right now in the NBA. Midway 4th quarter, the Milwaukee Bucks are beating the Brooklyn Nets 104-90 in Brooklyn. Don't forget, the Spurs will be there Sunday morning in the Central Time at Brooklyn. In Toronto, 3:18 to go in regulation. Raptors lead the Jazz 115-106. In Chicago, 4:01 to go in the 3rd quarter. Bulls over the Wizards 90-87. In Houston, Mavericks lead the Rockets 89-65. 8:02 to go in the 3rd quarter there. In Oklahoma City, 5:45 to go in the 3rd quarter. Minnesota Timberwolves over the Thunder 89-70. They are underway in Denver. In fact, early 2nd quarter, Nuggets over the Sacramento Kings 35-29. 2 other games out west later this evening. Lakers host the Hawks, and the Trailblazers host the Cleveland Cavaliers. Once again, the final score, the Philadelphia 76ers beat the San Antonio Spurs 119-100. Spurs Radio continues in a moment.
10 teachers signed
Calls or no?
at Fox Tech High School to form San Antonio.
No, you and I will just do we'll do 7 if that's okay with you.
I'm fine with 5.
All right, yeah. All right, we'll go 5 to 7. Jamie, they made that a noon tip-off for some reason on Sunday. So noon in Brooklyn is 11 a.m. in San Antonio. So that means our pregame will be 10:30 a.m. on the radio, and so will TV on Sunday. So it'll be breakfast with the Spurs on Sunday morning.
Texas residents are eligible for additional financial help, even those who were not eligible in the past.
Yeah, Peter, I would agree with that. COVID is messing up everything in sports, period.
If you qualify for financial help, which could lower your monthly payment to $0.
There you go, Leland. That's true. No Kyrie for the Brooklyn Nets on Sunday.
For over 90 years, Blue Cross and Blue Shield has been here.
So I got one more radio segment, and then we move from post game into Spurs React.
Enrollment is happening now.
Joanne, he cannot play in Brooklyn. He cannot play in New York. He cannot play in San Francisco due to local ordinances because he is unvaccinated. So Kyrie cannot play home games for the Brooklyn Nets.
One of the big reasons we wanted to come and work together on this show.
There, Sergio's got some information for us.
Censored. Thank God for what Rush Limbaugh did. Not a remake or a cover. What's old can sometimes be new again. Buck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton. We are here for you guys. From the roots of Rush.
This one will be shorter. Michael Bartlett to the right of the screen as you look at it. Michael with the Texas Longhorn cap. He'll join us here in a moment. From the Spurs Net Center, I'm Chris Duel. Once again, the final score from Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia 76ers defeat the San Antonio Spurs 119-100. Once again, coming up on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI, the flagship station, and streaming live video on 1200 WOAI's Facebook and Twitter pages. Our Spurs React is coming right up. Michael Bartlett and I will react to tonight's tough loss in Philadelphia. After a quick wrap-up from Bill Schoening, where he broadcast remotely this evening from the AT&T Center, where, again, the final score, the Philadelphia 76ers defeat the San Antonio Spurs 119-100. Spurs Radio continues in a moment.
Everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it.
Jamie, they get out of the protocol sooner, as early as 5 days now. So, hopefully they start getting these guys back a little sooner.
Everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones. AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
If you love HEB, but don't always have the time for...
That's right. So now Bill has a quick wrap-up from the AT&T Center, and then Michael and I will do a little Spurs React here.
And gather your groceries galore. Because when it comes to bringing the best to your door, no store does more. Download the My HEB app today and start shopping at HEB, where checkout is always free. Online prices may vary from ad-in store. See HEB.com for details.
Jeff Dunham, seriously. Peanut, what? I have a surprise for you. Wait, let me guess. Instead of getting you your vaccine, your family has decided to have you put to sleep. That's not it. What is it then? We're doing a show. A live show?
All right.
Oh my gosh. Where?
Yeah, I think it's 5 days. You got to get a couple of consecutive negative tests. But I think it was 10 days, and they took it down to 5. Most leagues, I think the NFL has done that as well. So... if a player is not symptomatic, here comes Bill.
Leah Resendez handle commercial traffic. Our broadcast engineer, Sam Walters. Our statistician, Walter Stoops. Next game for the Spurs coming up Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. We'll be on the air at 10:30 with Spurs Radio Game Day as the Spurs take on the Brooklyn Nets. And that game televised by our friends over at Valley Sports. As always, for all things Spurs, follow us on Twitter, Spurs.com, or the Spurs app. Our studio producer this evening was Mike Bartlett, and our studio host was Chris Duel. This is Bill Schoening. Thanking you for joining us this evening. The final score, Sixers over the Spurs, 119-100. This has been a presentation of Spurs Sports and Entertainment and the National Basketball Association. All rights reserved. Good night, everybody.
Spurs Radio Game Night Rewind has been brought to you by AT&T.
Dave Emilio Castanuela, who joins me in the morning, as I know some of you, like Frank Ramirez and others do, over on Ticket 760. Welcome in.
Right, we are going to shoot for 49 exactly. So
okay.
5 minutes.
49 hard. Works for me.
Yep.
All right. All right. I'll do a quick thing, then I'll go to you, and then I'll wrap, and that'll be it.
Sounds good.
Cindy K. Joyner, what do you have? Let's see. I think so many athletes are concerned about COVID that in itself can affect the mentality, but we are all in this together if we just tend to our responsibility the best we can. Totally agree. Totally agree, Cindy. Everybody needs to just, and we all know the basics. 6 feet, sanitize, wash your hands, wear a mask if you're in public, especially indoors. That would go a long way. Here we go.
This is Game Night React on the home of the Spurs, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI.
From the Spurs Net Center, I'm Chris Duel along with Michael Bartlett. Tough loss tonight for the San Antonio Spurs. They fall to the Philadelphia 76ers 119-100. But don't forget, and if you're just learning this, the Spurs were without 6 players. 6 players, including some key players like Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell and Doug McDermott in health and safety protocols. So it was going to be a tough fight no matter what. Spurs fought hard, but fell ultimately to the Sixers tonight, 119-100. As Bill Schoening just mentioned, Spurs will be at it again Sunday morning in the Central Time Zone. It's a noon start in Brooklyn against the Brooklyn Nets. That means 11 o'clock in the Central Time Zone. We will bring you Spurs radio game day at 10:30 in the morning. It'll be breakfast with the Spurs on Sunday morning. Let's check in with Michael Bartlett, who makes the entire broadcast go from beginning to end. Michael, down 6 players, a lot of them key players. This was going to be tough to pull off no matter what here tonight in Philly.
Yeah, exactly. It is what it is. They got routed by a team that pretty much all healthy, if you want to consider all things considered. They put up a fight, but getting down 20 early against this type of team, it was such a hard hill for them to climb. Got it within, I think, 12, maybe 9 at one point, but just unfortunately not enough firepower tonight. As Pop said in pregame, he didn't even know who he was really going to start because he didn't know half the guys who were on the roster. So it is what it is. You take your bumps and bruises. Unfortunately, every team in the NBA right now is dealing with this. And as Pop stated in pregame, unfortunately, it's our turn right now. So hopefully the buck stops as far as positive test with us right now. And then we get guys back from protocol. But it is what it is. So you move on and try to bounce back against Brooklyn on Sunday.
And it is possible. Brooklyn losing as we speak in their house where the Spurs will play on Sunday. 4:04 to go in regulation in Brooklyn right now. The Milwaukee Bucks lead the Nets 118-96. And, of course, no Kyrie Irving at home games for the Brooklyn Nets. So Spurs, who beat Boston just a couple of nights ago at Boston, they'll try again on Sunday morning. We invite you to join us for breakfast with the Spurs radio game day at 10:30 in the morning on Sunday morning. Again, the Spurs had 6 players out of the lineup tonight. So this was going to be tough no matter what. Hopefully, maybe they get some of those players back on Sunday. Maybe not. We will find out, and we'll keep an eye on that for you as we head closer. You can follow Mike on Twitter at Camaro Mike B. You can follow me on Twitter at Chris Duel, and certainly at 1200 WOAI throughout the weekend. Any updates on the Spurs, we will bring those your way. For Bill Schoening, another great call, his 21st year as voice of the San Antonio Spurs, on-site engineer Sam Walters, and for Walter Stoops and Michael Bartlett, who you just heard, who makes the entire broadcast go from beginning to end. Once again, the final score, the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Spurs 119-100. This has been Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI.
At home, anywhere, in the car.
All right, y'all. Go Spurs, go. Thank you, Leland Bruce. You have the final word. We will see y'all later. Oh, there's Leland Bruce's final word. I was trying to give Leland the final word. We'll see y'all later. Adios and go Spurs go. Have a great weekend.